Man, wow. Big exchange takes place between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. And Gervonta Davis says something about Errol Spence Jr. in the middle of it that I found quite shocking. Would not have expected him to have said. And on top of that, man, I am really loving this back and forth between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, where I think we're having a conversation going on between the two best fighters in that division, and in my opinion, two of the best fighters in all of boxing, and that is Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. And in the middle of this back and forth, Errol Spence Jr. catches some strays. Now, before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks. And again, you know I'm going to always name the crew. Thank you, guys. Matty O, Barbara D, Mr. Pragmatic, also my guy Paul Carrick, Jay Milts, Jay Miller, Big Mike. Thank you, man. Thank y'all for supporting in there. Man, some of y'all gave as much as $10 in there. Hit me with the yellow in a video. That means a lot, and really is very encouraging to do the videos. But let's get into this. There for a long time has been a lot of yak about Gervonta and Devin Haney being the best fight, one of the best fights to be made in boxing. And the entire time I've said that I think that there's a fight that's better than that. And I think that the fight that is better than that is Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson are both lightweights. They're both going to be in that division for a while. At least Gervonta Davis is, because I don't see Gervonta Davis. I think Gervonta Davis is tapped out at his third weight class. And I don't see him going to his fourth weight class. Shakur, a little taller, a little longer, so maybe there's a chance of him going to 140, but I think he's going to be at 135 for a while. So they started going back and forth, Gervonta and Shakur, and about, you know, the usual stuff about fighting. And in the middle of it, said something about Errol Spence, where Errol Spence caught a stray, but I had to mention and bringing it up because it's not the first time that I've heard that. And so Shakur Stevenson said to Gervonta that Gervonta doesn't have a very high IQ because Gervonta Davis picked Errol Spence Jr. to beat Terrence Crawford. And I can't remember who. Oh, he also picked Rolly Romero to beat Isaac Cruz. So Shakur Stevenson said, well, Gervonta Davis clearly doesn't have that good an IQ because he wouldn't have picked Errol to win. He wouldn't have picked Rolly Romero to win. Now, not that I know what the heck that has to do with boxing IQ, because, man, boxers get fight calls wrong all the time. However, he said in response, Gervonta Davis said that Errol Spence Jr. was HIGH, or high, for that particular fight. And basically said, you just hanging your hat on that one particular thing, right? But anyway, my response would have been, what does that got to do with me beating you up or you beating me up? Nothing, right? Because the IQ in the ring versus, you know, predicting who's going to win a fight, man, people get it wrong. Now, this is not the first time somebody said that about Errol Spence Jr. going into that fight. Some of the most avid Terrence Crawford fans that I've seen were saying, look, man, something was off about Errol Spence in that Terrence Crawford fight. He didn't look like he was there. Really didn't look like he was there walking into the ring in the locker room or you know, any of those times. And he just performed in a way where, man, that's just not him. That was basically a shell of himself. It's still very hard for me to believe that he was, smoking right before he went into the fight. And he must, in order to get his eyes to puff up like that, that must have meant he was doing that all night long. Okay, because, hey, man, I'll make an admission here. In my younger days, as in up to about 4 years ago, I used to engage in and partake in the libations of the organic variety, right? So I know what that is. And if your eyes are puffy like that, that's all night. That's all night, not sleeping, to get your eyes, to get puffy around the rims of your eyes. I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was, other people have said, hey, man, maybe he was on some painkillers or something. Whatever the case is, it's unfortunate that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford's fight is going to be marred by that in the eyes of some. The truth of the matter is Terrence Crawford just deserves credit for having won the fight. He won the fight. It is what it is, and you move on. But Shakur Stevens' assertion that somehow Errol Spence Jr. Terrence Crawford beating Errol Spence Jr. and Rolly Romero losing to Isaac Cruz is somehow going to save him from Gervonta Davis. I don't see the connection there, son. And what Gervonta said is, look, man, you run. And that's the biggest hurdle for me in the actual fight that I hope takes place. That's the biggest hurdle for Shakur Stevenson in that fight, is that Shakur's got to have to fight him. Shakur's not going to be able to just kind of do what he did with Edwin De Los Santos, because if he tries to do what he did with Edwin De Los Santos, he's going to lose that fight. Period. Point blank, period. He's going to lose that fight. They're not going to give him that call if he's not going to engage at all with Gervonta. And Gervonta is a much, much better fighter than Edwin De Los Santos is. But again, I tell you, I don't know who wins that fight between Shakur and Gervonta, because Shakur might outbox him. Maybe. Is he going to go without getting hit? No. Shakur Stevenson is not going to go and going to get through a fight without getting hit. Okay, you're going to get touched by him. Shakur actually even really questioned the power of Gervonta Davis by saying that Gervonta hit Hector Garcia 100 times before he fell. And so what you're going to do is you're not going to be able to hit me 100 times. Hey, look, man, Gervonta Davis didn't have to hit Hector Garcia 100 times to make him fall. In fact, Hector Garcia didn't fall at all. I think Hector Garcia lost sight. And it took one punch for him to lose his sight, because he was like, man, I don't know where I am. I can't quite see right. That was not getting knocked down. That was he got hit upside the head and he couldn't see straight no more. And that took one punch. So, but anyway, that's all fun and games, all funny stuff. I hope they both stay in that weight class and we get more competition in that weight class. And then we get to see those guys fight everybody in the weight division and fight each other. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with